new Half-Life game, eh? I never thought I'd see the day, but quite a few of us here at PC Gamer have spent the past week battling back the Combine's invasion of City 17 in Half-Life Alyx. Not only is Alyx a VR exclusive, it's also one of the prettiest VR games I've ever played. It's breathtaking from the first moment you look out over City 17, see the Citadel on the horizon, and think, wow, I'm really here, I'm in it. And if this game is your entry point into VR, that might leave you with some questions. How powerful a PC do you need? And what headset should you pair with a game a decade in the making? The short version? Playing Half-Life Alyx takes a less powerful GPU than you probably think, and most headsets will produce a good experience, though there are definitely some standouts. As long as you have an AMD RX 5600 or NVIDIA GTX 1660 Ti, you'll be able to play, though you won't come close to maxing out Alyx. VR is actually more demanding than running a game on a normal monitor. Valve's Index headset, for instance, theoretically renders at 2880 by 1600 at a dazzling 90 frames per second. Those are some big frames served up very fast. Ideally, that means each frame needs to arrive at the headset in less than 11.1 milliseconds. Notice the chart in the top right here. This is Alyx played on an RTX 2080 Ti. Even at Ultra, you'll notice the chart stays green with a few trivial blips when a texture loads in. So small you probably wouldn't notice while actually playing. Now here's a GTX 1650 running the same scene and oops, that looks like trouble. Those orange sections mean the frames are taking more than 11.1 milliseconds to make it to the headset, which leads to stuttering. In VR, this isn't just your usual bad performance. It can be physically hard to stomach. If you turn your head and the display takes a moment to catch up, that's a recipe for motion sickness. You may also notice that even though we're running the same scene at the same settings, the 1650 footage looks blurrier and the edges of objects more jagged. Benchmarking Alyx is a real pain because Valve dynamically adjusts the render resolution of Alyx on lower-end cards, and it's particularly noticeable on anything below an RTX 2070. That means even low on a 1650 looks much worse than low on a 2080 Ti, because the latter is rendering at a significantly higher resolution, even if they're both technically outputting at the index's native 2880 by 1600. I did my best though, using NVIDIA's FCAT VR tool in a few sections of Alyx on a range of cards. FCAT VR is one of the only reliable ways to benchmark VR games, and that's how I came to these official recommendations. If you want to max out Alyx, a 2080 Ti is probably your only choice at the moment. An RTX 2070 or RX 5700 XT will allow you to use the high preset, though we did run into a few graphical glitches on the AMD side. A 1660 Ti or RX 5600 will run at a smooth low or an occasionally choppy medium. You could probably get away with a less powerful card using the original HTC Vive or Oculus Rift or the Oculus Quest. Those headsets default either at a lower resolution or a lower refresh rate, but even then a GTX 1650 is pushing it. It will work if that's what you got, but it won't be ideal. Okay, so you've got a powerful or maybe a somewhat powerful gaming PC. Now the next step is choosing a headset. There are quite a few options nowadays, so which one should you choose? If you're watching this near Alyx's release in March 2020, the answer is probably whatever you can get your hands on. VR headset stock has been mostly sold out ever since Valve announced Alyx back in November. But assuming you have options, we recommend Valve's Index headset first and foremost. Big surprise, right? Valve game, buy Valve's headset. Seriously though, if you've got a decent gaming PC and $1,000 to spare, you should buy an Index. The whole kit, including controllers. It's the best one on the market. Best resolution, best refresh rate, best audio, best comfort, best head and finger tracking, best FOV, basically the best of everything. The aforementioned 2880 by 1600 resolution is the standout feature. It's your window to City 17, and if you want to really be there and read every poster and can of food and cigarette box, the Index is the best window you can find. That said, there are other features where the Index excels as well. Audio, for instance. 2 speakers hang down near your ears. With an audio field so realistic and clean sounding, I could usually target most head crabs before I'd even seen them. The Index is also incredibly comfortable, which matters a lot in an experience that takes about 13 hours to complete. Nobody likes foggy lenses or skull pressure, especially when fumbling shells into a shotgun as a zombie lunges at you. Lastly, the Index is one of the few modern systems that still relies on base stations for tracking. It's cumbersome to set up, either mounting the 2 laser-powered lighthouses to the wall or finding a suitable shelf, but taking the time guarantees ultra-precise tracking. The Index's base stations are hard to fool, so you'll likely never see Alyx's hand suddenly disappear or fly into space as occasionally happens with Oculus's tracking. That said, Oculus's all-in-one Quest headset is my follow-up recommendation. It's not ideal for Half-Life Alyx, but it's probably your best bet for VR's future. Why? Because it's a standalone headset entirely untethered from your PC. The controllers are tracked through the headset, which means there's near zero setup, and if a game runs on Quest, then that's how I'm playing it these days. Meaning, well, I play a lot of Beat Saber on Quest. Alyx doesn't run natively on Quest, but luckily a single USB-C cable turns Quest into a PC-based headset. The official Oculus Link cable, which is an uncomfortable $80, is your best bet thanks to its 5-meter length and flexible wiring. Quest isn't as comfortable as the Index, nor is its 2560 by 1440 resolution as sharp, nor is its 72Hz refresh rate as smooth. On raw numbers alone, the Quest cannot compete. But you know what? It's good enough, especially if this is your first foray into VR. And at around $500 with the Link cable purchase, it's half the price of Valve's system as well. Not bad. And Chris Livingston, our reviewer, would kill me if I didn't shout out the Vive Pro. Specs-wise, it's basically a carbon copy of the Index, but he did say it was more comfortable for him to wear with glasses. That said, the Vive Pro is still $100 more than the Index, which is a shame. As for controllers, you'll generally choose based on headset. The Quest uses Oculus's touch controllers, while the Index uses Valve's so-called Knuckles controllers, which track fingers. You can technically hack your way around that platform limitation and use the Index controllers with the Rift, but, well, why? Please don't do that. The touch controllers are incredibly comfortable and feel natural when holding the pistol, picking up a can, swinging a pipe, basically anything involving holding an object. Your hand is subdivided into 3 zones: thumb, index finger, and grip, which allows you to execute most standard motions like pointing, pressing, grabbing, giving a thumbs up, and so on. The Index controllers are more advanced, designed to track all 10 fingers independently and provide more granular haptic feedback. The controllers also strap in place, allowing you to fully open your hand without dropping the controller. This gives you an even larger pool of actions, and I'll say this, the Index controllers are the only ones that let you flip the old middle finger at the Combine. That said, they also take a lot of getting used to and can be finicky about finger tracking. I've personally played most of Alyx with the Index controllers, but that's only because I played most of Alyx on the Index headset. The touch controllers work perfectly fine, and despite Valve theoretically designing Alyx around the Index's hardware capabilities, I haven't noticed any scenarios where I thought, you definitely couldn't do that with touch, except for, well, crushing cans with the Index's strength-sensitive grips. Really, you can't go wrong with any of them as long as you've got the hardware. I mean, come on. It's a new Half-Life game. Are we really going to split hairs about controllers? Okay, that's a lot of information. Here's the summary. If you want my full stamp of approval setup for an optimal Alyx experience, buy this hardware: an RTX 2070 or RX 5700 XT, an Index, and the Index controllers. And if you can do better than that, well, you've probably got way more disposable income than me. Thanks as always to MSI for providing the hardware we used for testing. We'll be back soon with more traditional coverage of Mountain Blade 2 and Resident Evil 3. Maybe, once the whole office is finished playing Half-Life. Half-Life 3 when, right? See you next time.